Okay, I guess let's get started. So let me introduce myself. My name is Tanmay Kenny. I'm heading the customer success team at MProfit, and I have Radha Mehta, who is a product manager at MProfit.
Hello, everybody.
Um, so, first of all, thank you everyone for taking the time to join the webinar. Good afternoon to everyone. So today's webinar is basically we are focusing on performance analytics and reporting. We are going to deep dive into XIRR benchmark comparison and latest features which MProfit has introduced in last couple of months, I would say. So agenda for today's webinar is basically, as I mentioned, a deep dive into performance tracking across different asset classes, portfolios. We are going to cover which performance insights you get on a portfolio, that is investment portfolio, PMS portfolio, asset class level, as well as the family group level. Then comparative performance against equity and debt benchmarks, how you can get the comparative performances for different categories such as equities and debt. Similarly, we'll introduce the new blended benchmark feature we have introduced recently. And then lastly, we will talk about the latest product enhancements as well. So last couple of months, whichever features we have introduced, we'll talk about it as well. So let's go into the MProfit screen. So firstly, I would like to talk about the two reports we have introduced, which is profit and loss summary and the detailed report. Uh, I'll go to the individual portfolio report section, and under performance section, you can see profit and loss summary and detailed report. Obviously, we do have equity capital gain reporting, mutual fund capital gain reporting available. But now these two reports are mainly for assets which are quantity based. So including equity mutual funds, now you can generate profit and loss summary and detailed report for some other asset classes as well. As you can see, private equity, traded bonds, NCDs as well. Just to show you the samples, this is how the sample summary report looks like. So you can get private equity, traded bonds, NCD debentures, profit and loss as well. And this is how the detailed report looks like. Okay, so this is a quick thing about the two new reports we launched on the classic view reports. Now let's go into the analytics module. The main purpose of this webinar is basically to understand the performance insights we provide. So, Radha, my screen is visible, right?
Yes, Tanmay.
Yeah, sure. So let's talk about the performance insights we provide. First of all, let me add that the entire performance module,
Sorry,
the performance tab. Yes,
Tanmay, just 1 second before we go, can we go to the
sure.
summary screen and show the XIRR on the current value, over the current value?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. So before I move to the performance analytics tab, let me quickly show you the option where you can see the XIRR from the classic view also. Most of the members might be already aware that we have this feature, but just to show it to you, if you want to get the XIRR for any particular asset, you can simply put cursor on the current value. So for example, if I want to see the XIRR for HDFC Bank stock, I can put cursor on the current value and you can see the XIRR for that particular stock. Same you can do for any particular asset. Suppose it's a mutual fund, you can similarly put cursor on the current value to see the XIRR immediately. This is something if you want to quickly see the returns without going into report or different screens. Same if you want to see it for entire portfolio also, we have an option available to see the portfolio XIRR without zero holdings and with zero holdings as well. That is for inactive and active assets XIRR. So these are the quick options to see the XIRR, your performance, or that is XIRR returns on an asset class or on an entire portfolio level as well.
And we have a detailed report as well, which is the annualized XIRR report in the
Right,
class.
correct. And if you want to get the overall detailed asset class wise report, that is available under report section, performance and the annualized return XIRR report. This is how the XIRR sample report looks like. You get three levels of report XIRR details here. One is asset class level, that is for all stocks, all mutual funds, or all AIFs. Second level is individual asset, that is a particular stock or a particular mutual fund scheme. And third is basically total portfolio XIRR at the bottom of the screen. So grand total row, you can see that is a portfolio level XIRR. So I'm assuming that most of the members of join this session must be already aware about this XIRR metrics we provide on asset level, portfolio level, the report we have. But today we'll talk about the performance insights, the detailed view analytics module we have. Um, we'll go into much detail, we'll deep dive into it. And so let's get started with the performance tab. Overall, the performance insights are available on multiple different levels. It's available on a group level also, individual portfolio level also. Individual portfolio can have investment portfolio, also PMS portfolio. The third level is basically asset class level. That is, you can see the performance insights for a specific asset class as well, such as stocks and ETFs, mutual funds, and so on. Fourth level is a category level. You can also get the performance insights on a category level, such as equity category, debt category, and so on. Fifth level is basically an individual asset level. That is a particular stock or a particular mutual fund scheme. So let's talk about the detailed performance insights on a portfolio level. In this case, I have selected Ajay Mehta's portfolio. We are into dashboard and I've selected a performance tab. So performance snapshot, you can see on the screen that it shows 20.79% returns you're making on all the investments you have under Ajay Mehta's portfolio. This is annualized rate of return, XIRR, from all to date, since inception to date. On the right of that, you see certain details such as first transaction date, the current valuation of the portfolio. Similarly, total investment, total withdrawal, total gain, and then the breakup of that total gain, which is realized profit and loss, unrealized profit and loss, and total income. Now, this section will help you to understand the overall XIRR return you're making on all the portfolio investments. By default, whenever you generate this view, it is all to date. But we have also provided an option to get the periodic returns. Now, let's say if your portfolio is going on since last couple of years, your investments are there in a historical period as well, and you want to understand the periodic returns you're making on your portfolio. To do that, on the top right hand side, we have given option to select a period. You can select this all to date option, and similarly, you can basically select a specific period as well. We have different options available, which is all to custom date, that is year to date, financial year wise, calendar year wise, month end, trailing year wise, as well as for any custom period. So if you want to generate your portfolio returns, let's say for 1.5 years, you can choose the custom period and generate the similar reports. Now, if you want to understand how your portfolio returns are compared to different market indices, we provide two different insights for the same. One is your portfolio returns versus index CAGR. And secondly, your XIRR, that is your portfolio XIRR versus index XIRR. The first section, which is your portfolio XIRR versus index CAGR, this helps you understand the trend overall. In this section, as you can see, you can compare your portfolio return with different market indices CAGR. So on the screen, you can see that your portfolio returns is showing basically 20.8%. And for other indices also, you can see the return that is a CAGR return. By default, you can compare your portfolio returns with 5 different market indices, but we have given option to change the indices as well. Currently, we support almost 80 plus market indices. So depending on your choice, you can select different market index and then get the comparison. Similarly, we have XIRR to XIRR comparison, which is like a more complex calculation, I would say, because in this case, let's say if your portfolio is consisting of 10,000 transactions, system will replicate those 10,000 transactions into a particular index, and then index XIRR will be calculated. So this XIRR to XIRR comparison will give you a very accurate apple to apple comparison. And as you can see, it has in this section also, you can select multiple different indices if required. Currently, this portfolio's XIRR is compared with TRI Nifty 50 XIRR. As I mentioned, you can click on change benchmark and also select a specific index to get the comparison. Rather, you'd like to add about blended benchmark?
Yes. Yes, sure. So we recently added the new feature which is called as the blended benchmark, wherein from the existing list of NSE indexes and the two new indexes that we've launched in the debt space, you can create our own blends. So if you see our index list, we've added a couple of TRI and non-TRI equity indices and two debt indices, which are the CRISIL Composite Bond Index and the CRISIL Liquid Debt Index. So we have also given an option which is called as the blended benchmark, wherein you can custom create your own blends. For example, if you have a portfolio which is a mix of equity and debt, you can give weightage to each index separately. So for example, in the first scenario that you can see here, there are three equity indices, which are the TRI Nifty Mid Cap 150, TRI Nifty Small Cap 250, and the TRI Nifty 50. So we have given 20, 10, 70 as an example. You can add any weightage you want to any NSE index and any CRISIL index as well, and create your own custom blends depending on the kind of portfolio you are tracking. For example, if it is an equity and debt mix index, you can give say 60% to an equity index and 40% to a debt index. Or if it is a mix of different market caps along with some debt, you can custom create your blend by giving weightage to a small cap, little bit to mid cap, large cap, and also a liquid debt index or a composite bond index of your choice. In this blended benchmark feature, you have the option of creating multiple blends, and in one single blend, you can add up to 5 indices. So depending on the kind of portfolio you have, if it's a pure equity portfolio, which is a mix of different market cap strategies, you can create a different market cap blend. If it is a mix of equity and debt, you can create an equity and debt mix. Or if it is a combination of all three, you can do that. For example, in certain kind of AIF schemes, you would see that some component is equity, some is debt. It may not be a purely equity AIF or a pure debt AIF. In that case, you can custom create your own blends so that you can do a proper AIF benchmark to blended AIF performance to a blended benchmark performance, right? So this blended feature is available at all portfolio levels. It is available at a specific group level. It is also available at an asset class level and a category level as well. So in whichever level you want to see your portfolio performance or an asset class performance or a category or a group level performance, and you want it to be compared to not a standalone index, but you want to create your own blends, we have the option now available. And just a disclaimer that the blended benchmark feature is available in our family office plans only. Okay. Yes, Tanmay.
Yeah, thanks, Radha. So this is a new feature we have recently introduced, and Radha, as mentioned by Radha, this blended benchmark feature is available in our family office plans. So you can create multiple blends, as Radha also mentioned, and you can use the blend to compare it with different asset classes, portfolios, categories as well. Let's go to the next section, which is performance by category. Now, as I mentioned at the start of the session, that you can get the comparison, you can get the performance by category level. So, for one portfolio, as you can see, there is a section called performance by category, where you can see how each category is performing, providing the returns. So, in this case, real estate, you can see 30.94%, equity category 24.12% return. You can see the XIRR return in the last column. And along with that, you get other details as well, such as total investment, total withdrawal, total income, which covers various kinds of income, such as rent income, dividend income, interest income, and so on. Closing valuation of that particular category, total gain you're making, realized gain, unrealized gain, and the XIRR. Similarly, if you want to get the performance by asset class, It's available as well. So we can, if you want to see what is the total return you're making on only stocks and ETFs or all mutual funds, this is a section you can look into. So mutual funds, you can see that it has made 7.38% overall returns. We are looking at one portfolio and performance by asset class. So these are MProfit asset classes like stocks and equity ETFs, uh, mutual funds, fixed deposits, AIFs, NCDs, traded bonds, and so on. Similarly, we have a advanced performance insights. Now, let's say you have a portfolio which has investment since last couple of years, 4 to 5 years, or maybe more, and you want to understand the overall performance, mainly a historical performance, that is how a portfolio has performed over the period. This section will help you to understand that how your portfolio is making all to date returns, 1 year return, 2 years return, 3 years, and 5 years. And you can compare a portfolio return with any of the market index as well. We have two views available, historical year wise and also financial year wise view. Okay, so this is about a portfolio level. I have covered multiple different screens. Also, as I mentioned, you can get the similar insights on not only on a portfolio level, but also on an asset class level. Now, let's say you want to understand the performance, a similar kind of insights for a particular asset class. You can go to the asset class section from the left panel and select stocks and ETFs. This section will then show you overall performance of a specific asset class, that is stocks and ETFs. And then you will similarly get all the different insights such as benchmark comparison, your equity XIRR versus index CAGR, your XIRR to XIRR comparison, then performance by asset class as well. If you want to see how each stock is performing, providing the returns, it will help you understand that as well by looking at the performance by asset class section. Similarly, advanced performance insight, if you want to understand how the stocks and ETFs asset class have performed over the period, you can generate that as well. Similarly, for any other asset classes such as stocks and ETF or mutual funds, you can get the insights. Even for AIFs also, if you want to get the insights. Now on the third level, basically, if you want to get to know a scheme level insights, we talked about the portfolio level performance insights, asset class level, that is stocks, mutual funds, AIF. You can do that. We also have an option where you can select a specific scheme, can be a mutual fund scheme, stocks, or AIF scheme, and get the scheme level insights as well. So, for example, in this case, as you can see, I have selected a specific AIF scheme, bearing private equity India AIF scheme, and you can see the overall performance insight on a scheme level as well. So, this particular AIF scheme is making 26.34% return. You can see some other details like what is the first transaction date, current valuation as on date, total investment, total withdrawal, total gain you are making on that particular investment. And then you can get the comparison as well. Your portfolio returns, that is a scheme level returns, versus you can compare that with different index CAGR. Similarly, XIRR comparison and other metrics also you will easily get it. So entire performance is not only available on a portfolio level, but it is available on a asset class level as well as individual asset level also, like a stock, mutual fund scheme, AIF scheme, or any other asset class. Also, we talked about the category. Now, it's very important to understand the category level performances because if you want to see how your specific category investment is performing, for example, equity category can have your private equity, equity shares, equity mutual funds. We basically consolidate all these asset classes into one category, that is a equity category. And if you want to see how a category is performing, how a category investments are performing, you can get that as well. So equity, debt, different category insights, you can easily get it from MProfit. We also have an option if you want to compare different categories. We already talked about it, but if you want to understand the comparison between different categories, how each category is performing, for example, equity versus debt, you can get that from a performance by category section by selecting an individual portfolio or a family group. So we talked about the overall uh, investment portfolio performance insights. Let's talk about the PMS portfolio as well. So I'm selecting a PMS portfolio from the list. So I'll select the Axis PMS Ajay Mehta and I'll go to the performance section. Yeah, Radha, you would like to cover this part?
Sure. So in our PMS portfolios, what we've done is we've created certain additional tables, which will give a deeper insight into your PMS portfolio. For example, you can see the snapshot version, which is available in a regular portfolio or a family level, is slightly different in a case of a PMS portfolio. So we give you a summary of what is the PMS portfolio XIRR, what is the cash in, what is your cash out, what is your current investment value, and what is your cash on hand. We calculate the PMS XIRR taking into account all the cash flows and the underlying holdings current valuation. Now, why this is important is because there is certain cash which is always lying idle with your PMS fund house, out of which certain fees are also deducted, and the cash is not technically generating any return for you. So when calculating a PMS XIRR, we make sure to consider all the different kinds of cash flows that have occurred in your PMS fund along with the underlying current valuation. So if you see, when we create a PMS portfolio in our classic app, we recommend that you import two statements. One is your PMS transaction statement file and one is your PMS bank book. Now the transaction statement file helps us capture all the underlying details and the bank book helps us capture all the cash flows and the various fees charged by the fund provider. And we consider all of these different options in order to give you a complete PMS portfolio XIRR. So here if you can see, post the performance snapshot at the bottom, there is an absolute gain available. There is an income payout, which would be the dividend income or any other kind of income, and the total fees. Now, this fees component we are capturing from the bank book that you're importing. So if we click on the C distribution thing, you can see a pie chart which will show you a split between the different kind of fees which the PMS has charged you with. For example, performance fees, management fees, custody fees, or any other kind of fees. PMSs usually charge different kinds of fees, and sometimes in the return that they may provide you with, the fees component may not get noticed as easily because they provide you a complete total net return. So in order for you to have a complete visibility into the different PMS schemes that you're invested in, we make sure to provide you all the details of the different cash flows and the fees as well. If you would notice, the PMS fund providers usually provide you with something called as TWRR, which is the time weighted rate of return. Now, what is the difference between TWRR and XIRR? The time weighted rate of return considers all the different timings on which the cash flows have happened, but it does not consider the actual cash flow amount. So, for example, let's say for the financial year 24-25, you have done cash flows in April, June, July, and August. You have invested more money, and in December, you have withdrawn some money. What the TWRR will consider is it will take the dates at which these cash flows have happened, the cash in and the cash out, but it will not consider the actual quantum of this cash flow. And hence, it is merely a time weighted return without giving any relevance to the cash flows that have been incurred in this portfolio. And XIRR not only considers your timing, that is from which date the cash flow has happened, but also the quantum of the cash flow, whether it is cash in or cash out. So XIRR is a more holistic way of looking at your PMS portfolio because it considers not only the underlying current valuation, but it also considers the timing of these different cash flows and the amount of these different cash flows, along with the fees that the PMS is charging you with. So when we calculate the PMS XIRR for your portfolio, we make sure to consider all the different cash flows occurring on different dates along with the underlyings to give you a more complete picture of your PMS portfolio XIRR. If you go to the next screen, if you go down below, you will see there is a chart which is called as the cash flow snapshot, which quickly summarizes the different kind of cash flows that have incurred in your portfolio along with the closing cash and the closing investment value. All the other charts, that is the XIRR versus index CAGR chart, XIRR comparison chart, which is the blended benchmark or the mere benchmark chart, are similar to what we have in the different normal portfolios. So here also, if your PMS scheme, for example, is a flexi cap scheme, right? In that case, you can custom create your blends by giving weightage to large, mid, and small cap so as to give a complete PMS XIRR versus a blended PMS benchmark XIRR comparison. Similarly, you will also be able to see the different charts like performance by category, performance by asset class, and the advanced performance insights. All of these charts, which are applicable to a normal portfolio and at a family and a group level, will also be available at the PMS level. But at the PMS level, in addition to these reports, we also give you the additional reports such as the cash flow snapshot, the way we calculate your PMS XIRR, along with a fee distribution summary. One more thing about the PMS is the difference between discretionary PMS and a non-discretionary PMS. Now, the two reports that I mentioned earlier, which you have to import, the transaction statement and bank book, are usually available only in case of a discretionary PMS. That is, in a case where entire decision-making capacity lies with the PMS fund provider. But in case of an NDPMS, where the decision making is with you, the investor, and not directly with the fund house, in that case, they may provide you with something called as a transaction statement, but not with the cash flows and the fees that they have charged you with. So in order to make sure that your NDPMS portfolio is also accurately calculated, in our PMS portfolio, we have given the option of adding the cash flows. We have an import template which you can use to put in all the cash in and cash flow. But the more important feature is the cash balance auto calculation, which you can see on the screen right now. If you enable this option, that is, should cash balances be auto calculated, this would mean that whenever you input any cash ins or cash out through our import function or directly on the MProfit screen, your cash on hand will be automatically calculated by the system, and you don't have to manually calculate in Excel and then punch it into MProfit. MProfit does this for you. So all you have to do is import all your cash in and cash outs along with the different kind of fees that is being charged by this NDPMS provider, and your cash on hand will be automatically calculated by us. And similar to a normal discretionary PMS portfolio XIRR, we will also provide the PMS XIRR for a non-discretionary PMS. This is also true in case of a RIA or a advisory kind of portfolio, wherein your RIA is only recommending schemes, but you yourself are only managing or doing the transactions for that. In that scenario also, you can use a PMS portfolio option, add in all the cash flows, any fees that the advisor, the RIA, is charging you with, and all the different transactions, and your XIRR will be computed in the similar fashion.
Yeah, thanks, Radha. So, in case of normal PMSs, you get a bank book statement and transaction statements, which we directly support for import. But other than that, if you have any NDPMS portfolio, you might be getting a transaction data, but for cash flow data, you can definitely enter it manually, including all the fees you are paying for that particular non-discretionary PMS as well. And this is the screen as we are talking about it. This is a screen from where you can add the individual fees if required. And we do have a cash balance, auto cash balance calculation option where you don't need to manually calculate the cash balance or cash on hand every single time. Once you add the cash flow data, that is cash in, cash out, and fees, the cash balance will be automatically calculated depending on these details. And then you will definitely get the similar kind of insights for your NDPMS portfolios as well. So as we covered investment portfolio, asset class wise insights, performance insights, PMS portfolio performance insights, let's talk about the group level insights as well. So if you have multiple different portfolios,
Sorry,
including
Tanvir,
your normal portfolios, advisory portfolios, and if you want to see the overall performance for your entire family, you can simply select a family group, go to the performance tab, and you can see the overall performance insights on a family level consisting of multiple different portfolios. You will get all the similar insights, different similar screens as you have seen for individual portfolio or asset class level. One specific screen which is important and different, which is a performance by portfolio. If you don't want to see a detailed portfolio level insights and you just want to have a high level view that how every single PMS or an investment or an advisory portfolio is performing, which is available under family. This is a nice view we are providing where you get performance by portfolio. So we'll get the portfolio line item wise as you see on the screen. Axis PMS of Ajay Mehta is making 27.81% returns. Ajay Mehta's direct portfolio, that is an investment portfolio, is making 20.79% return. Similarly, Beena Mehta has an advisory portfolio, which is making 20.67% return. So you can compare multiple different investment as well as PMS or advisory portfolios with each other using this particular section, which is you have to select a family group and then you can go to the performance by portfolio section. Similarly, let's say you are doing advisory with couple of different advisors and now you want to just compare different advisor portfolios with each other. What you can do is you can create just like a family group, you can create a custom group and link all the advisor portfolios under the same. So in this case, I've already created an advisory portfolio. You can go to the performance section and then simply go to the performance by portfolio section. This advisory group consists of different advisory portfolios. So on the single screen, as you can see, you can compare how each advisor portfolio is performing. You can also get some other details such as total inflow, outflow, income payout, closing valuation. Total gain is basically consists of your absolute gain. This will cover your realized as well as unrealized gain. You can get it in a value also. As you can see, total gain shows 53.90 lakhs of almost 54 lakhs. And just below that, it's in a percentage also. So along with the annualized rate of return, XIRR return, you can also see the absolute return under total gain column. Okay, as we are talking about the advisory portfolio, we do have a separate module available for the same. The management needs to be done from the classic view where you can create a portfolio and call it as a strategy portfolio. So for example, I can create an advisory portfolio here and I can mark this portfolio as a strategy goal portfolio so that whatever your investment you are doing through a certain advisory, you can do the assignments. You can assign transactions on a transaction level as well as on a bulk level as well. So you can manage advisory portfolio easily by creating it. And then similarly, you can then get the comparison performance insights as well. If you want to understand how to create different strategies and how to create strategy wise portfolios, how to do the tagging for different investments, we have a help center available, which is help.mprofit.in, where we have added detailed guides how you can do the same. Or if you need any help, please reach out to us at support@mprofit.in, our email ID, support email ID, and our team will contact you basically and just guide you with creating strategy and goal portfolios so that you can get the performance analytics as well. So Radha, you would like to add anything
Yes.
on the group level, maybe?
We can also show maybe a specific financial year or a calendar year and show the book PNL versus the normal gain.
Yeah, let me just select individual portfolio, Ajay Mehta, let's say. Go to the performance section. So as we talked about seeing the overall returns, we also provide periodic returns. And in this case, let me just select a specific financial year. For example, I'm selecting financial year 23-24. Now this is showing me overall returns for a financial year 23-24. Now here in this case, the opening valuation you see that is as on 1st April 2023. Closing valuation is as on 31st March 2024. Total investment you have done in this period is 5.82 crores. Similarly, there is some withdrawal which is of 11.80 lakhs, almost 12 lakhs, and the gain you are making in this particular period. Now, for this kind of a calculation where it's a periodic returns, periodic XIRR, we consider the opening valuation, as I mentioned, as on 1st April 2023 in this particular case. For total gain calculation, we are considering the cost of 1st April 2023. Similarly, if you want to get it from Jan to December, we recommend to generate a similar insights by selecting a calendar year. In that case, the cost to calculate the total gain will be considered as a 1st Jan of that particular year to 31st of December of that particular year. So that you can always see the periodic returns or periodic gains depending on a specific period you are selecting. You can simply select year, and this is basically a calendar year. If I select 24, if I select 23, it will show me the overall periodic returns and gain loss information from 1st April 2023, from 1st January 2023 to 31st of December 2023. That is a calendar year. So this is one of the periodic details we are providing, and the way we are considering opening valuations, calculating the returns, and then showing the total gain.
And if you click on the total gain for the period, you'll also be able to see the P&L booked for that specific period.
Yeah, we have two options available: total gain for the period, and if you want to see the realized profit and loss for this particular period, as I have selected financial year 23-24, you can select profit and loss book in the period, and it will show you that as well. Of course, we do have a detailed capital gain reports available in our classic view. But if you want to see the profit and loss booked along with the XIRR returns and performance insights, this is the option available.
Should we move to the new features?
Sure. So as we have covered the performance insights, let's move to the new features which we have recently introduced in last couple of months. Um, One is the equity exposure. Initially, when we launched the equity exposure, I would say it was very basic with standard equity exposure across stocks, mutual funds, and ETFs. But overall, we have done a lot of improvements to this particular feature. Rather, would like to explain the same?
Sure. So our advanced equity exposure feature, if you see, we provide exposure of your entire stock investments. For example, the equity exposure chart you see here, it shows exposure to a particular script through your direct stock investments and also through your indirect stock investments, through your PMS portfolios and through your mutual funds and ETFs. So if you see, for example, HDFC Bank in this case, we will show you the exposure to HDFC script is through your direct stocks of say 3.23 crores of current valuation and also through mutual funds. You also have the option now to see which specific mutual funds contribute to the exposure to a particular script. So here you can see there are 3 mutual funds: Kotak Banking, HDFC Large and Mid Cap, and Aditya Birla, and few 2-3 other mutual fund schemes as well. So you can use the equity exposure feature to see which specific mutual fund is also contributing to your exposure to a script. Tanmay, can you go back to the equity exposure? Yeah. If you see here, we have also provided 2 additional tabs, which is called as sector and market cap. So here you can see how exposed you are to different sectors through your direct stock investments and of course through your indirect PMS mutual funds and ETF investments as well. Similarly, you can also see the market cap split. So how exposed your overall portfolio is to large cap, mid cap, and small cap. We provide detailed level of granular insights. Now, for example, if you were to select the entire family group level, then can we select a group? Yeah. So if you select the family group level and go to the equity exposure feature, select on any specific script, you will also be able to see through which portfolios it is exposed through. Direct stocks is under which portfolio, which are the PMS schemes which have exposure to HDFC Bank, and which are the different mutual funds as well. So at a entire family level also, which specific portfolio has contribution to this script or is more exposed or underexposed to a particular script can be seen through our advanced equity exposure feature. So on the top, you can see we have given 3 tabs: asset type, asset, and portfolio. If you click on the asset, you will be able to see how much is through direct stocks, how much is through PMS stocks, and how much is through different kind of mutual funds. And if you click on the portfolio tab, it will show you how much exposure to HDFC Bank is through, say, Beena Mehta's portfolio or Ajay Mehta's portfolio, so on and so forth. So you can use our equity feature to do a complete overlap analysis of your stock exposure, because we consider not only your direct stock investments but your indirect investments, which are through PMS, mutual funds, and ETFs. So if you want to take any reallocation decisions because you're over or under exposed to a particular script and you want further details on that, you can always use the equity exposure feature, which will give you more detailed level of insights into your exposure to any specific script. Next,
Yeah, thanks, Radha.
yeah.
So let's talk about the next feature as well, which is PDF downloads. Now, we talked about the performance insights, which you can get on multiple different levels. But if you want to export this data, now there is an option to export the performance screens into a PDF format. Let me go to the individual portfolio once, or let me show you from here as well. Only one small thing is you need to generate all these screens first, and then you can click on export to export the either the uh, performance snapshot, or maybe you can get all these charts in a single export option. That option is available here on the top right hand side, download option. You can just download the snapshot, which is this particular performance snapshot, or you can download the entire performance report, which will consist of all the screens you see on in the performance tab, which is your XIRR versus index CAGR, or performance by category, performance by asset classes, uh, advanced performance insights. All the screens will be downloaded using a single performance report section. That's how it looks like. So this is the export option we have recently added if you want to export all the different performance insights into a single PDF file. Another feature which we have added is the private equity corporate actions. As this is a entry level or updation level in feature, we'll go to the classic view. And just to show it to you, if I see a specific equity category investments, now just like equity shares, where on the equity shares we provide auto corporate actions where bonus, split, merger, demerger, dividends can be automatically applied. Now for private equity investments also, you will be able to add the corporate actions manually. You can simply right click on a particular private equity asset class and go to the other transaction section. And from here, you'll be able to add bonus, split, merger, demerger, and other corporate actions as well. So this is one of the feature we have added. And similarly, there is an option if you want to merge particular private equity from private equity category to a stocks category. Let's say there is an asset which got listed. You can simply do a merger entry from private equity to stocks and ETFs, that is equity shares. And for that, you can use this option, add merger into a listed stock. So you don't need to manually delete the transactions and then add it into a stocks and ETFs portfolio. Okay, and there is one more feature which we have introduced, which is a tally integration. It's one of the very important features we have added to the platform. Uh, I'm sure some of the members are already aware about this feature. It was introduced a couple of months back. Many of our family offices have started using tally integration feature very actively. It basically helps you to integrate your investment data from MProfit to tally application for your accounting purposes. Currently, if you're using MProfit application and also using Tally app for your accounting needs, I'm assuming that most of the cases you must be manually entering all the transaction data in Tally. That is creating different kinds of vouchers, uh, passing the JVs, receipt entries, payment entries, and so on. With this integration, you can now just download all your investment data in a voucher format, use our Tally utility, which we have built to create a Tally compatible files, and simply upload these files into Tally application so that this process can be completely automated and your account person don't need to manually enter the transactions into Tally. As MProfit is helping you to consolidate all different kinds of investments in a single platform, it's very easy for you to just get this data and integrate into a Tally application. Just to show you, if you want to create an account for Tally integration, you can go to any individual portfolio, click on this plus sign, and you will find the option add account portfolio for Tally integration. You can choose this option. You can link particular, you can give a name to a particular to this account. Let's say Ajay Mehta's account. So I'm just giving Ajay Mehta. You can link your investment portfolios and simply click on save. This will create a separate account, and from here you can basically download all your investment data in a voucher format. So all different kinds of investment transactions will be converted into a voucher format: journal voucher, payment, receipt, contra, and so on. Once you download this file, you can use the second step is to basically use our Tally integration utility, which will help you to convert the voucher data into a Tally compatible files. And the third step is simply to open the Tally application and upload the files directly into Tally application. So this is one of the feature we have introduced a couple of months back. And as I mentioned, many of our family offices are actively using this utility. It's helping a lot to many family offices already. Uh, Similar to blended benchmark, the Tally integration feature is also available in our family office plans. So in case if you're using Plus, Lite, or maybe HNI plans, and if you want to use the Tally integration feature, we recommend to upgrade it to the family office plans to get the Tally integration feature.
Thank you so much for joining the session and taking time out on a Saturday. We hope this session has been useful to you. If there is anything that we have not covered, or if there is anything you would like to understand in more detail, please do reach out to us.